Hello and welcome to another episode of Andrea Speaks TV. I'm your host, Andrea, bringing you commentary you can use. So I hope that each of you and your families are doing well. And I want to say thank you all so much for subscribing to the channel and supporting the channel. So tonight I want to come and talk to you about some news that just came out this evening. Today is Tuesday, April the 5th. And I want to bring you some information about student loan payments. Okay, so this information comes from the Associated Press. And the title of the article says that the White House to extend student loan pause through August. Okay, so before we get started, please make sure if you have not already subscribed to the channel, I would like to invite you to subscribe to the channel, join our community so you can stay informed and connected when I do upload new content every week. All right. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Now, according to the Associated Press, the article says the Biden administration plans to freeze federal student loan payments through August 31st, okay, extending a moratorium that has allowed millions of Americans to postpone payments during the pandemic, according to an administration official familiar with the White House's decision making. So, you all know right here on the channel, I've talked about whitehouse.gov, which is the official website, government site website of the White House. And a lot of times, most times when they make announcements or press releases, they post it on the website whitehouse.gov. So right before I went online to share this information, I did check whitehouse.gov, and as of right now, they don't have that information listed. So the article does say this comes from an individual, an administration official who is familiar with the White House's decision making. Okay. All right. Now, student loan payments, according to the article, were scheduled to resume May the 1st after being halted since early in the pandemic. Okay. Many people contacted their student loan provider and asked to be a part of the national, I believe it was national forbearance due to the pandemic. And so millions of borrowers, millions of student loan borrowers who, contacted their student loan provider, right now they don't have to make any student loan payments. Okay. All right. So again, the article says student loan payments were scheduled to resume May 1st after being halted since early in the pandemic. But following calls from Democrats in Congress, the White House plans to give borrowers additional time to prepare for payments. So let me know, those of you who are watching now live, or if you're watching by replay, let me know your thoughts. I would love to hear from you. Let me know your thoughts on this news in the comments. Okay. Now, the article continues by saying that the action applies to more than 43 million Americans who owe a combined, listen to this number, y'all. The action, let me repeat it. The action applies to more than 43 million Americans who owe a combined. Okay, are y'all ready for this number? Before I even say this number, how much in dollars do you think that Americans owe in student loan debt? Someone type a number in the chat. How many millions, billions, or trillions of dollars do you think Americans owe in student loan debt? Anyone have any idea? Well, let me go ahead and share it with you. Okay. According to this article, again, this comes from the Associated Press, the action applies to more than 43 million Americans who owe a combined $1.6 trillion in student debt held by the federal government. Okay, this information is according to the latest data from the Education Department. Okay, now that includes more than 7 million borrowers who have defaulted on student loans, meaning they are at least 270 days late on payments. Okay. All right. Thank you all so much for tuning in and supporting the channel. Make sure you subscribe if you have not subscribed already. and make sure you share this information. Maybe you or someone you know has student loans, and would like to know this information. Okay. All right. Now, the article continues by saying the Biden administration plans to freeze federal student loan payments through August 31st, extending a moratorium that has allowed millions of Americans to postpone payments during the pandemic. Okay, borrowers, the article says, will not be asked to make payments until after August 31st, and interest rates are expected to remain at 0% during that period. Okay, now the extension was first reported Tuesday, which is today, by Bloomberg. Democrats on education panels in the House and Senate recently urged President Joe Biden to extend the moratorium through the end of the year, okay, citing continued economic upheaval. Okay, now there is a senator. Okay, the article says Senator Patty Murray said more time is needed to help Americans prepare for repayment and to rethink the government's existing system for repaying student debt. Okay, so I want to ask the question to those of you all who are watching now live, or if you're watching by replay. Do you think this is really the solution to help the millions of Americans who right now they have a pause on their student loan payments? Do you feel that this is a real solution by continuing to postpone or delay or pause these payments? Do you really think that people, the student loan borrowers, do you really think that they are having enough time to prepare for repayment? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you feel like this is a real solution to continue to extend these payments, okay, or to extend the pause on the payments? Let me know your thoughts in the chat, okay? Now, here is another quote. Here's a quote by Senator Patty Murray. She said, and I quote, "It is ruining lives and holding people back." She said in a statement last month, borrowers are struggling with rising costs, struggling to get their feet back under them after a public health and economic crisis, and struggling with a broken student loan system. And all this is felt especially hard by borrowers of color. Okay, that is a statement, a quote by Senator Patty Murray. Okay, what are your thoughts on what she's saying? We've talked about it right here on the channel. We've talked about how we are all seeing rising costs, whether it's food, water, gas, basic necessities, things of that nature, energy costs. A lot of costs are rising, and we know that is in large part due to inflation. Senator Patty Murray also mentioned, and I quote, that borrowers are struggling to get back on their feet after the public health and economic crisis. And she also mentioned that the student loan system is broken. Okay, so what are your thoughts? Are there any problems that you see, if any, in our student loan system? Now, think about this, y'all. You have young people coming out of high school, and for whatever reason, they're taking on the student loan debt to help, or taking out student loans to help meet the financial obligations of earning their degree. And you have to think of it. You're talking about young people between the ages of 18, 21, 22, when they graduate college. Many of them are coming out of college with tens of thousands of dollars in student loan debt. Okay, and when you think about it, here it is. You can have, here in America, you can have a student coming out of college, and you can have a student that has come out of college, is accumulating or has accumulated all of this student loan debt, and now they're, let's say, $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 or more or less in debt. And that same student, college student, college graduate, student loan borrower, could ask yourself, could that same young person, young adult, go to the bank and take out a $50,000, $60,000, or $70,000 loan to start a business? Think about that, y'all. Okay, let me repeat it. I want you to get a mental picture of this. here it is. You have a young person who has graduated college, looking for a job, has accumulated tens of thousands of dollars of debt. Okay. Sometime, depending on what they're going to school for, it could be over $100,000 worth of debt, depending on their area of study. And, coming out of college, you're trying to, look for a job, maybe purchase a home, a vehicle, you're trying to get yourself established. But for many people, for many people, student loan debt has been a burden, for many people. And like I said, the point that I was making is that you have a young person, 21, 22, fresh out of college, graduating college, a college graduate. They have accumulated all of this debt, tens of thousands of dollars of student loan debt. But can that same young person go to the bank and take out a $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 loan to start a business? It could be very difficult for them to do that, right? Especially, if they have an established credit. So I think that's one thing that, we need to educate our young people on, especially those of us who, have gone to college, graduated, have the experience of going through financial aid and taking out student loans, some more than others. I think that that is something that we need to educate our young people more on, thinking about scholarships, looking for scholarship opportunities. There are different accounts. You can do your research on 529, 529 accounts. There are different ways. There are different, I'll call it financial instruments, ways that you can save for college and possibly have some tax benefits as well. Okay. So, let me know your thoughts on that. Do you think our current student loan system is broken? And in what ways would you fix it if you feel that it is broken? Okay. Thank you all so much for your support. I'm going to continue on with the article now. Senator Murray also called on the Biden administration to lift all borrowers out of default to provide and I quote, fresh start following the pandemic. Okay. Let's see. Okay, now the decision is being made amid rising concern. This is according to the article. The decision is being made amid rising concern that large numbers of Americans would quickly fall behind if payments restarted in May. Okay. Now, in March, the St. Louis Federal Reserve Bank warned that resuming loan payments could place a heavy burden on borrowers who face financial hardship during the pandemic. It said the impact will be hardest on Black families who are more likely to rely on student loans to pay for college. Now, I want to say something about this. A lot of times, at least I noticed that it seems like the Black community, Black people, it seems like there's always some type of statistic or disclaimer that the Black community is more likely to be impacted by this or that. So, do you even agree with this statement that you feel like the impact on student loan, resuming student loan payments, the impact will be hardest on Black families? Do you feel like that is true? And I would even question, where do they get this information from? Are they saying that Black families are, when you look at the total percentage of, I was reading an article about this, and I did come across some information that suggested that Black families, or that Black people, when you look at the total amount of student loan debt, I'm going to actually go back and research this. I shared earlier in the article, I shared that the debt was $1.6 trillion. I remember reading some information once that suggested that Black people made up the majority of student loan debt. But I'm going to, before I really talk about that, I'm going to go back and do some research that way I can make sure my information is accurate. But, I just thought it was, for them to mention that, what are they really saying? For the article to point out that Black families, and I quote, let me go back to the quote so I can let's see. Okay, it said the impact, and I quote, the impact would be hardest on Black families who are more likely to rely on student loans to pay for college. Okay. What is really the meaning behind that? Are you saying that because you want Black votes? You know, it's an election year. What is the purpose of them? What do you think the purpose of them mentioning that in the article is? Okay. All right, let me continue. Thank you all so much for your support. Serious delinquency rates, the article says, for student debt could snap back from historic lows to the previous highs in which 10% or more of the debt was past due, the bank said. Okay, that's the St. Louis Federal Reserve Bank. Now, the article says the Trump administration initially gave Americans the option to suspend loan payments in March of 2020, and Congress made it automatic soon after. The pause was extended twice by the Trump administration and twice more under Biden. Now, the article says it remains in question whether Biden would pursue widespread debt forgiveness to reduce the nation's student debt. Okay, some Democrats in Congress have pressed Biden to use executive action to cancel $50,000 for all student loan borrowers, saying it would jumpstart the economy. And listen to this, y'all. And the article also says it will help Black Americans who, on average, face higher levels of student debt. Okay, so there they go again, mentioning the fact that Black people will be most impacted by this, Black Americans. Okay, so I want to ask the question. Now, here's a picture that I found during my research, and as you can see, these individuals, they're holding up signs that say "Cancel student debt." Let's see. They're even addressing the president. It looks like they're standing in front of right outside of the gates of the White House, and they're holding boxes. And on the boxes it says President Biden hashtag cancel student debt. It looks like with the flick of a pen. Okay. So again, I want to ask you the question, and I also created a poll. If you would take time to answer the poll question, I want to take a survey just to see. For my supporters, subscribers, what are your thoughts? Should student loan debt be canceled for millions of borrowers? Why or why not? So please make sure you answer the poll question and also leave a comment below. Okay, now, the article also says last year Biden asked the Education and Justice Departments to review the legality of widespread debt cancellation, but no decision has been announced. Biden previously said he supports canceling up to $10,000, but he argued it should be done through congressional action. Okay, so again, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Should student loan debt be canceled for millions of borrowers? Why or why not? Also, I do think that by extending the payment, it could very well provide relief to millions and millions of borrowers, student loan borrowers. But we want to ask the question: is this a real solution to help with what some people may call the student loan debt crisis? Okay, let me know your thoughts in the comments. I want to say again, thank you all so much for subscribing to the channel. I appreciate your support. Make sure you like this video, share this video, leave a comment below. Let me know your thoughts. And if you have not subscribed, make sure you hit the subscribe button, join our community. That way you can stay informed, share information, and you can stay connected. All right. Thank you all so much. I appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in to Andrea Speaks TV, and I'll talk to you soon.